Hey, it's QT question mark, and you're listening to the Vanguard.
QT question mark. Thank you so much for being here today. How
Yes,
are you
sir.
feeling? How did the songs feel?
Both amazing. Both amazing. I'm gonna get great space personally, and the music always puts me in another tier for sure.
Yeah. So we heard two songs off of It's a Long Way Down that dropped May of 2022.
Yep.
I just want to ask, how do you go from songs like Lost in Texas from like 10 years ago to songs like Honeycomb now? That's a lot of range to cover.
Absolutely. Lost in Texas was like trial and error. I didn't even know if I wanted to
Okay.
make music at that time,
Yeah.
particularly.
Yeah.
That was literally maybe my third time in the studio by myself. And I was
Mhm.
just happened to come out. I was like, "Oh, I gotta put this out." I went crazy,
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
that was like, what, 7, 8 years ago now.
Yeah.
And then compared to where we at current day, that's just like maturation process and
Mhm.
growth and putting that 10,000 hours into my skill. I think
Yeah.
more than anything.
Yeah, so walk me through the reaction once It's a Long Way Down was dropped.
It felt good because I put it out strictly. I wanted to put it out via my website.
Right.
So I really felt like it was like I want to drive my audience to that space of like buying music from me instead of going streaming. It'll hit streaming eventually if that's what you want to do and have that accessibility. But I feel like that was my number one goal, and it felt great to be able to have my fans there purchasing my music and pulling up to the shows and stuff. So it was a good vibe for sure.
Yeah, so we have that as the most recent project, but I just want to rewind a little bit and look at kind of the difference between QT question mark as a solo artist and QT question mark in groups like Minds or Wim County. What are the pros and cons of being in a group maybe over being a solo artist?
So a pro would be definitely still sharp and still kind of method, right? So
Right.
when you're working with other artists, you always find yourself challenging and trying to take that next bar, that next level echelon of skill. And I feel like I surrounded myself with guys that always push me to be a better artist. So that's a plus. And then being an independent artist is like you're kind of searching for inspiration by yourself to a sense, like it's just like you, maybe a producer, and you kind of searching for it. But I feel like the benefit and the cheat code is kind of having somebody to tag along with, you know what I mean? Like little Teen Titans or a little super, rap group or music group, I
Yeah.
feel like that's a benefit for sure. But solo, I feel like I can kind of get in my own head a little bit, overthink things. When I'm with a group, they're just
Sure.
like, "Oh no, that's cold. Go ahead."
Got it.
And
Yeah.
but I've gotten a little bit more comfortable in the solo space, and I feel like I've kind of finally found my footing
Yeah.
as far as like the marriage between the music and the lyrics. So
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, I'm sure it's kind of cool to be able to find your sound on your own, but then also
Mm-hmm.
work in these cool spaces with other artists too.
Absolutely.
So when you talk about other artists and creatives that you've worked with, I think 3 in particular, I'm sure it's way more than that, kind of stick out to me, and I'm just curious like what their impact has had on you, and that'd be Sleepless Blue. You have Dio in there, and then Lower End Theory, kind of more on the visual side of things.
Yeah.
What do those people mean to you? What have they brought to the table for you?
Well, 2 of the 3, Dio and Low End, those guys like are literally my best friends from like when I was like 3rd, 4th grade. So all of us kind of been on this journey of finding who we are and then finding what we love and seeing that what we love, turning that into something that can be profitable, obviously.
Yeah.
And like again, that still sharp and still kind of theory with those guys. And then Sleepless Blue, man, it was a happenstance. There's this older venue in Honey that I met him at. It's an older venue if you guys ever been there. It's like an underground spot in Minneapolis. That was super like close to my heart. Like I got a lot of shows off there. But that kind of relationship was just like, wow, like all right, he just was engineering my project before this, which was In Time Spent. He engineered that project and produced maybe one song off of there. We kind of just got a vibe and the chemistry, and then it just started tumble rolling in us, just like being in harmony musically and been creating good music. So, but yeah, and then Dio, obviously that's my brother. He's on a bunch of songs with Sleepless Blue as well. He was within a group like Minds with me, and then Wim County, which is the group me and him are in right now. So that's the label, Wim County, baby.
Yep. And so you brought up Honey. I'm just curious, walk me through kind of some of the highs and lows of performing throughout all these years. Any crazy stories from performing at UMN house shows to, anything?
Well, definitely I can remember a night at Honey specifically where I performed with like I'm pretty sure I broke my toe. and I was just so dedicated to perform. And I was like, give me a chair, like I'll just rock out and sing and do what I need to do. At this time, I was with my other group members, 2 other group members in like mine, so they were kind of able to balance the weight a little bit. I could kind of chill and do my thing, and they can still engage with the audience. But I think that was probably the craziest. And then U of M show, I remember we just created a whole bunch of like stages just with a bunch of like wooden pallets, like pallet jack wooden pallets type thing.
Yeah.
And we're jumping up and down. Things got a little rowdy, and definitely people start falling through the cracks of the plywood, going kind of crazy. But that was definitely one that stuck out for sure.
Yeah, it's a house show at its finest, I feel like. So performing on a broken toe, did the broken toe happen that day?
Yeah, that day. And I was just like, I can't miss the show. Like, I just love performing so much, and I was like, I don't want to miss the opportunity. I ain't like dead or nothing. I can still kind of put a little weight on it. The homies give me a little lift. I can make it work. But that definitely was a classic night in my eyes, 100%.
Yeah. And then with Like Minds, it seemed like you guys were also going out of the state as well. And I remember, I think you said in an interview there was a show in Chicago where you were really able to change people's perceptions of Like Minds, because going in, they're like, okay, we're just here to see the main act.
Facts.
And then you guys came in. What was that like?
I think that was just more of a like being in unfamiliar territory. Nobody really knows who you are, what you represent. Right. And you're coming. It's like a pretty major city like Chicago where the audience is like, all right, you're dope or you're not. You know, we're not just gonna give it up for you just to make you feel better. You know what I mean? So we felt like we had to deliver, and I felt like I look at those challenges and accept them head on. Like, I'm gonna turn this whole room around and make y'all all fans. Like I love that challenge artistically, and I feel like we knocked it out the park. So they was definitely hype after we got off stage.
Gotcha. So that mindset was, we're gonna go out here and we're gonna make these people believe in us. It wasn't ever like, oh gosh, how are we gonna do this? It's we know we can do this.
Yeah, I feel like we had put those hours in on stage. We knew how to deliver good performances. We knew our music was gonna go over well, and we just literally executed. That's all we needed to do, and we killed it.
So it seems like that confidence then is there on the performing side, but QT ? That question mark has been there for the times where you maybe have questioned yourself. Where does that come in? Is that more on the internal side of things when you're making music?
Yeah. I think it's more of an introverted trait I have at times where I'm just in my own head and I'm like, man, can I really do this? Is this really something that's built for me?
Okay.
But at the end of the day, I feel like I've grown over time as a man and kind of understanding whether people are looking or not, you're just exactly who you think you are, Sure. So that's kind of what that has represented for me lately. Not as much of a question, but, more of you're exactly where you're supposed to be, stand in that.
Very cool. Very cool. Was there, what point in your career do you think you were kind of questioning yourself the most, and how were you able to get to this mindset of this is where I'm supposed to be?
I think early in my career when I was trying to figure out if I still wanted to like pursue school or pursue a professional career, like, and dedicate my time to that. Yeah. Which I guess you gotta kind of find a balance with that, but I felt like this wouldn't be put on my heart and I wouldn't feel this passionately about it if it wasn't meant for me. So I just, again, that camaraderie with all my brothers that were kind of creating at the same time, we felt like, hey, we might as well just go all in on this. And then at the end of the day, I live with no regrets, I know I put my all into this, regardless of if there's a trillion or there's just a 10, whatever, it doesn't matter. I know this is what I'm here to do. So absolutely.
For sure. So I have a feeling that mindset stayed with you for dropping It's a Long Way Down. But like a lot of local artists I've talked to and a lot of projects that have been dropping recently, you've actually held on to, and they were made over the course of the pandemic. Yeah. So what is that like, having those songs there and then releasing them, a year or two later? It's kind of, is it a weird feeling? What does that feel like to you?
I feel like most of my music is the time capsule. Sure. In a sense, of where I am at that time. So in the type of music I aim to make, I feel like it's timeless in a sense. Like it doesn't really have to fit in a year, or like it's trending right now and it might not be hot in 2 years. I feel like my music has a really good shelf life, for the listener, and it's not gonna be stale, or I'm talking about old topics. I'm more kind of reflecting on where I am personally in most of my records.
Yeah, gotcha. And just taking your music as a whole, kind of always been blending singing and rapping.
Yeah.
Who's kind of not even necessarily your influences, but who do you see as kind of the Mount Rushmore, or just kind of the pivotal, like, these are the artists you think of when you think of people who seamlessly blend rap and singing?
Definitely got to say Andre 3 Stacks. Andre 3000 is like the king of that to me personally. And then for the masses, Drake is obviously there. He kind of set the template of like how you sing on the hook and rap on verses. You know, kind of set that template for the modern day.
Sure.
So he's definitely gonna be there. Like underratedly, Frank Ocean. Like he doesn't rap a lot as much.
Yeah, no,
but
that's a good point. Yeah.
he definitely has his moments where he kind of goes in and out of it. He's always somebody that's like been a staple and inspiration for me for sure. And then QT question mark. I mean,
Yeah, right there, of course. Yeah.
who else? You know,
Throw
I'm gonna
yourself in.
stand on that. I feel like I've taken it to a different space, and I feel like I'm gonna give myself flowers if nobody else wants to.
Yeah, very cool. And along with your music, I feel like I've seen really cool visuals, whether it's from Low End Theory or on the music video side of things. In particular, It's a Long Way Down. You dropped a music video semi-recently. What was the process behind that, and how much say did you have in it versus maybe the director? What was the vision for that?
It was definitely a collaborative effort. Shout out the homie Driven Dreams Media. He shot that one. He's a super dope local, just videographer, photography, kind of multimedia type of guy. But I think it was more of a collaborative effort. As far as the lighting and stuff, we discussed how we kind of wanted it to be a darker tone and like kind of have a spotlight overhead. Clothes, obviously, I picked out, dressed myself. And then we kind of just came up together. I was like, hey, I kind of want to just have flowers thrown at my feet, have a sandwich at the beginning. I kind of wanted to be kind of all over the place, kind of abstract art type of deal, where you're not really like understanding what the hell's going on type thing. But I feel like him and me kind of got together for the first time and did a video, and I feel like we kind of got our message across very well, even if it's abstract. Like, it's the art, baby. Listen to the music and watch this, and it looks great. So I love it.
And so, was the video trying to reflect the song, or was it trying to kind of do its own thing?
I think it was kind of representing its own thing. Just kind of, I wanted it to represent kind of happy moments in my life, which is eating, which is performing.
Yeah.
I had a couple other scenes, but we kind of worked away from those. But just I kind of wanted to highlight what make me happy, and that was, I feel like that was portrayed very well. Yeah.
So when you talk about QT question mark and locations, obviously Twin Cities, but then there's also Dallas that sticks out to me. Walk me through kind of the differences in terms of the music scene in Dallas versus the Twin Cities. I think you've said there's a little bit more of a supportive vibe in Dallas.
I just for me and what I've experienced earlier in my career, I felt like it was a stronger support system down there.
Sure.
Over the maybe like the last year or two, I feel like here it's kind of been kind of tuning in a little bit more, which is a beautiful thing, and they're kind of being more aware. But I would definitely say it's just a bigger market, and there's kind of a bigger, I guess, home for the type of music that I make, if that makes sense to y'all. Like, they put like a lot of clubs, like if you go down there, it'll be like bands playing all night.
Sure.
Like from dusk to dawn, not playing like oldies, like playing current jams or like R&B, whatever that you're into. I feel like that live element of music is kind of missing up here outside of just people throwing shows and performing for, performing for 7th Street or stuff like that. I feel like it's kind of a different energy as far as cultivating sound. But Minnesota is beautiful, though. I do love the crib, of course,
But I can totally see what you mean in Texas, just like probably more consistency and longevity maybe in like those longer performance sessions.
And it's just a bigger city per capita. So you got more people, more different venues. You can drive to Austin if you want to, or go to Houston. There's kind of bigger markets within the state. You know what I mean? This is like Minneapolis here. And maybe some people go down to like Mankato, play gigs and stuff like that. But it's kind of a little bit more niche here.
And then plus you get to justify being a Dallas Mavericks fan, which I feel like I see a lot of content of.
Shout out Luka.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay.
Big Mavericks fan, big Luka Doncic fan. So,
I was able to see that a lot through your Twitter. Not a lot of Timberwolves content, I will say. Are you not a Timberwolves fan?
I am. I just know with Minnesota sports, it's like don't get your hopes up too high.
Yeah, at least with the Mavs that they have a shot at, getting past the first round in the playoffs, or even getting to the playoffs. So.
Absolutely. I mean, my mom shared a home down and then my sister lives there. So
Okay.
and I kind of grew up between here and there a lot
Sure.
growing up. So that's kind of like a second home to me for sure.
And then stepping outside of music, I think we kind of talked about if it's not music, it's you're hanging out, just chilling. But then also, I feel like 2K is definitely a big part of the overall life of QT question mark.
Yeah, man.
So I just I was curious, like thinking about this because I was thinking about like kind of back to my 2K days. Don't play as much anymore. Is there a heyday of 2K? Is there a year in specific where like that's the best year for 2K?
Oh, maybe like 2011.
That's what sticks out to me too.
Yeah, 2011 was
yeah.
a really good year.
Jordan on the cover and
Yeah, that was the first time you could play with him, that character. Yeah, 2011 for sure. And 2009, I think maybe Kobe was on there too. That was another good one.
Yeah.
That's when I probably first started playing. But yeah, I'm a big 2K 2K guy. Find me online, Xbox, holla at your boy.
Nice.
QT just me. If you want to catch him on the sticks, come catch this hell.
Love it.
Yeah.
And if I'm building a player from scratch, what are the attributes I should be looking for?
Oh man.
What are your go-tos in building a my player?
Oh, you gotta be a bucket. You gotta score. So I got right now. I got a 6'9" small forward.
Okay.
It's like an inside out 2-way guy. I've been going crazy online right now. I'm a problem. Somebody need to sponsor me.
It's getting there.
Between that and creating music, and I am a father too. So taking care of my juniors. That's it, man. I'm just chilling. You know?
Yeah. And then I think at a point in time, I don't know if this is still the case. Podcasting was pretty big for you.
Absolutely.
Kush Thoughts podcast. Is that still something you're looking to?
Absolutely. Shout out to homie Mac Boney. He's another homie of mine. I don't know if I can say this on here. If not, edit this part out. But Kush Thoughts podcast is the podcast that he does, and I've been part of that for like the last 6-7 years. And I've kind of slowed down just a bit because I wanted to kind of focus in on my music, kind of get it where it needed to go, and help promote and stuff like that. But 23, we're back though. We're back on the podcast tip. I want to help produce again and
Very cool.
and put out more content, and as well as Black Bliss podcast too. That's another podcast.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of. So I want to give a shout out to Maria Gonzalez. Shorty.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And how does that kind of serve as an artistic outlet outside of music?
I think it's probably the only thing I loved as much as music is just like the communication aspect. I love being able to shoot and edit and help do research on people, interview, or I love just the energy of conversation. And I love to be able to like just be a part of putting it together as far as like producing or engineering somebody's stuff, whatever. Like it just makes me feel good that I can love something just as much as I do music. So that's definitely, I love it.
And that's really cool when like you can definitely tell you love it when you're like a fan or kind of a nerd of the process.
That part, yeah. Absolutely. I'm all into it. I'm listening to everybody. I'm like, all right, what mic to use, what camera to use.
Yeah.
Why is the lighting like this? It looks amazing. You know, I'm really like into, you got to nerd out about things and like to really show that you care, you know? I feel like if you're not nerding out about it, you don't really care about it. For real, you know?
Yeah, definitely. That's really cool. And I just want to now kind of look ahead, too. We were talking a little bit ago about kind of looking ahead in 2023, and maybe there's going to be some singles that are dropping along the way that are kind of displaying the diversity within your craft. And I just want to ask, like, is there any song that may come down the road in particular that will definitely be bound to throw people off? Is there a sound that could kind of throw people off me? Like, is that QT question mark?
Yeah. I would say the record I performed today, like Meal Ticket, like that's definitely outside of my normal.
Yeah.
And there's some other hidden gems coming in 23, but that record definitely coming. I got another joint about like, about a lady, but also like just kind of referencing like how cold it is and like the windshield and kind of having to clean your car off type vibe. So just all over the place, you know, kind of just being very creative and witty with it. That's what I love about the art. So
that'll be really cool to see, and I'm super excited for all that comes. Anything else on your radar? Anything coming in the near future that you'd like to share?
Yeah, I have a suicide awareness concert I have coming up here this month at the Square. Shout out Solo 2 Dot. He's putting that together. That's my last show of the year. And I'm going into hibernation for the winter time, continuing to create and lay out for next year for 23. But yeah, man, go listen to It's a Long Way Down at qtwashere.com. Please go do that. Check out the new video Long Way Down as well. That's on my IG and on YouTube. And yeah, man, just stay tuned, man. We got a lot coming up next year. I'm super excited. We got some big, quiet hush hush features coming too. So
Yeah.
definitely talk about it off air type.
Yeah, very cool, fun. And then I now that I'm looking at your sweatshirt and bucket hat, I don't know if you want to mention this too, but merch and just overall fashion coming soon too.
Absolutely. 23, we're bringing the hoodies. We got the Wim County. That's the label. That's also the group I'm in. Wim County. Got the bucket hats. Merchandise definitely coming all year next year. We're definitely looking for summer for the buckets, and then hoodies obviously first quarter.
Yeah. And where'd that idea come from, and what was the process like of getting that together?
Yeah, so me, Sleepless Blue, Dio, we all kind of was sitting around chilling in the room and kind of figuring out what we wanted our next stuff to be called, you know. And I felt like I came with Wim, or no, he came with Wim, but I kind of felt like that was appropriate because we kind of create in less than 30 minutes. So we kind of like on the go, like, all right, what we doing today? Kind of improv-y, just whatever, just start recording it type thing, you know, and to see what we come out with. And County was just kind of like representing of like our cul-de-sac of people that are our listeners and that create and do their own thing within our little cul-de-sac. Like we Wim County, you know, like we doing it off the cuff in your county. You feel me?
Yep. Yeah. Serving the county and beyond.
Got to.
Yeah, very cool. Any lasting remarks, any words of wisdom, anything you want to leave the audience off with today?
Man, just go do it and just like stop overthinking, man. Just do it. Just do it, bro. If it's on your heart, like clearly it means something to you, and chase it. And you don't determine your outcome, so it don't matter. Just go after it.
Just do it.
Forget the result, you know?
Yeah. QT ? Thank you so much for being here today.
Love. Appreciate y'all, man.
Sweet. Yeah.
Sick.